Alright, so guys, if there is one thing I had to take away from this episode, it would be confusion? I am so confused after watching this one episode from After the Altar. So, guys, I am covering Love is Blind After the Altar. There's 3 episodes to cover. Episodes, I believe it would be 13, 14, and 15, according to Netflix. But, guys, this episode, I was so darn confused because if you know this, when was this filmed? Is this post or pre reunion? Because I have a feeling it was pre reunion, which kind of sucks because the reunion gave us so much that I would have liked to see like the aftermath of that. I don't know. This episode really kind of made it seem that it was kind of pre-reunion, but I really don't know. So let's just get into this review slash recap of this episode. Sorry, I've got my notes here. I did everything the manual way this time. Sometimes I do it on my laptop, but this time I just wrote it as I went. So it starts off with Raven meeting SK at the airport. And this is when I was like, okay, well, this is going to be really awkward to watch. And also I feel like I can't take anyone or anything, not anyone, I can't take anything that SK says seriously because we already know how this ends. It's like the cheating scandal was a very big thing that came out. If you do not know, it later after the reunion, it did come out that SK actually had cheated on Raven with a whole bunch of different girls, and I'm pretty sure that relationship is over. So watching this first episode, I was like, okay, well, clearly this is before anything goes down. So real awkward. Basically, Alexa and Brennan, they're at Alexa's dad's house. The families are joining together, celebrating their traditions. I think they're celebrating Shabbat. I'm not sure. A Jewish tradition that I'm not really sure which one it is, but basically the families are there together. They've combined each other's like traditions to like make a big happy family, I guess, which is really nice to see. Yay them, woohoo. Alexa and Brennan seem to be flourishing in their relationship, having a good 1-year marriage, it seems. They're really, their next step is having kids. You have this conversation with Alexa and her stepmom where she's basically like, oh, like I don't want to have like the baby vaginally. Like, I want a C-section. I want my vagina to look the same. I was like, oh my, okay. So moving forward. Also, I'm not really sure if Brennan's dad actually not Brennan's dad. I actually don't really know if Alexa's dad likes Brennan. It's really awkward at the dinner, and moving on. Then we move on to Matt and Colleen's life, or a little update with them. And this relationship is a very confusing one, guys. And this like I said, this episode was confusing to me. And this is the number one confusion is why are they still together? I don't understand this couple. I don't understand why they're still together. They don't live together. They're married. Now, obviously, everyone is going to look at that and be like, well, that's freaking weird. Like, why would you not live with a person that you're married to? Everyone's different, maybe they're trying to iron things out. But as the episode progresses and we learn more and more about why they're not living together, it sounds like just a whole bunch of excuses. And for some odd reason, I just don't understand why they're still together. Like, every single time Colleen's with them, she just looks annoyed. They're like annoying each other all the time. They seem like they fight a lot. I don't know, but more on that as this episode continues. We go back to Raven and SK, and Raven talks about how it was really hard after SK said no, and they both really needed time to process everything after the altar. After the whole thing that happened at the altar, they both needed their own separate times to really like work through it and process it. And through that time, they kind of kept in contact and then eventually decided to start a relationship again. And now they're all really happy and they're still doing long distance and traveling back and forth to see each other, but everything is going really well. And it's just awkward to watch, like I said. Very awkward to watch because, yeah, we all know that in the end SK cheats on her. So anytime he talks, I'm just like, I can't take him seriously. I'm just like, sir? Sorry, but no.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
Then, now this is a big one, guys. This is a big one that honestly, I was just peeved. I was so peeved. So we have Nancy and Bartiste. And they are the biggest, not the biggest, but one of my big confusions and a big what the beep explanation on my face, because I just don't understand what's going on. So we find out that Nancy and Bartise over the last year have been kind of like, getting together and hanging out. Not necessarily in a romantic way, but like trying to build a friendship.
What the fuck happened?
Hey!
Why? Why do you need to build a friendship with the man who said no to you at the altar? And their excuse is like, oh, well, we really like being around each other. Nancy, is that the reason why you're talking to this man? Move on, girl. Like, what are you holding on to? Why do you have to be friends with this guy? He clearly treated you like shit. Like, why? And, okay, as I was thinking about this while it was going on, I was like, why is this girl talking to him? And I was like, you know what? I was like that at a point in my life. In my 20s, when I was in college, when I was still young and I didn't understand, and I was like, really still hoping for something with this guy who, like, we were kind of trying to be in a relationship, but he didn't want to be in one. And I was like, okay, well, we'll just be friends and hang out, because I liked being around this guy. And that was just an effed up moment for me, because I clearly hadn't moved on. And that's exactly what Nancy's doing. But Nancy's like in her 30s. Like,
A second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
we're not in high school anymore. We're not in early college, but we're still young. And like, she has a life. Like, she's just really nice. Okay. Oh, Nancy, no hate to Nancy, because I want the best for her. I really like Nancy. I don't know why she had the blonde hair, and I hope it wasn't for Bartise. But anyway, we continue to find out that Bartise has told his family that he does kind of talk to her and that they've hung out. Nancy, however, has not told her family, because as we remember, her family did not take it very well at the altar that Bartise had said no. Yeah, it was I thought there was going to be a fight. But she has not told her family, obviously, for obvious reasons. But yeah, I just didn't understand this meeting, and I don't understand it. And again, it made me question if this was pre or post reunion. I don't know. Comment down below if you know, because honestly, I have no idea. Then we move over to, like, all the girls meet up at this really nice place. Every time I watch the show, it makes me want to go to Texas so bad. I've been to Texas I take that back. Twice, and I love Texas, and I don't know, it just looks like a good time. Every single time I see people there, like, eating at these really nice places, I'm like, oh my god, I want to go to Texas. If you're from Texas, comment down below and say, hey, I'm from Texas. And tell me where's the best place to eat, just saying. Back to what we're talking about. So we have all the girls talking, getting together, and Alexa's already there. She pretty much all she does is talk about her sex life, and it's just annoying. I don't really care about the fact that you and Brennan have sex. Like, just talk about something that's real. I don't really care about your sex life. Whatever. Moving on. Raven, she's just like, yeah, I'm doing good. As we know, with SK, they're doing a lot of the long distance, which is hard. We already knew this. Then we have Colleen, and she's basically updating the girls and being like, oh, the first 6 months of our relationship after getting married was really, really hard, but we both decided, like, well, we both said yes for a reason. And basically, they were just fighting a lot, and their communication just wasn't very good. But now they're in a better space, and they're in this weird honeymoon phase, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why are you in this? Why? 6 months of just fighting after the first 6 months should be like it should be the opposite. It should be the honeymoon phase. Why was it the opposite way? I don't know. But all I know is I'm confused as to why this relationship is still going on. I don't know. But she just goes on, and then this is like, and somebody pointed this out. Actually, I want to shout out Miss Nicole. I absolutely love her. If you don't follow her, please do. She's a really, really good recapper. She has Love is Blind and a lot of reality TV as well. She is so freaking hilarious. I love her. She goes, whenever she's talking about people, she's like, in the bin. She is so funny. I love her. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Basically, she just starts saying, like, the reason why, like, she hasn't moved in with Matt is because of the dog. And I was like,
You serious?
The dog. The dog is the reason. The dog is the reason why you're not moving in with your husband. Because Matt has this dog that's not neutered, and he humps her all the time. Like, okay, well then, put the dog somewhere else in the house. Like, stupid excuses is what I'm saying. Anyway, moving on. Then we have Nancy talking about Bartise, and she's like, oh, well, I realize that I just don't have boundaries, and I need to get have to have boundaries with my friendship with Bartise. And I was like, why? Why do you have a friendship? Why? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Zainab's there. Every single time I see Zainab's face, I'm just like, it's like Zainab and Bartise. They to me are like the biggest villains to me. Oh, and sometimes Alexa. Like to me, they're just like, anytime they're on screen, I'm just like. But Zainab comes in, whatever. She says she has a new man in her life. And I was like, oh man, okay, she moved on. That's great. Turns out it's just her therapist. And I said, thank you, because she needs it. And I hope she's still going to therapy. I just hope she's still going to therapy. Alexa announces she's throwing a party and she's going to be inviting everyone, including Cole. So Zainab, I hope you're okay with it. And she's like, oh, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. So then basically that segues into our update with Cole. And we find out that Cole is casually dating. He says that he's thinking about leaving Texas and moving to like even San Diego. He wants to be able to have more adventurous, like a more adventurous place and just have that ability to do that and kind of like just leave Texas behind. And so I'm guessing he wants to move to California. Basically, he said he hasn't spoken to Zay in a year. And I was like, okay. Again, the question's in my head.
Again.
Is this pre or post freaking reunion? I wish there was like a tag that said before the show started, like, this is taped before the reunion or after, like, because I just don't know, like, what do you mean he hasn't spoken to Zayn in a year? So like at this point, had the reunion happened, I'm going to assume no, if he said he's never spoken to her, because I feel like if the reunion would have happened, he would have been like, the last time I spoke to Zay was at the reunion, but he didn't say that. So this is making me think that it is pre-reunion. But then he talks about the cuties in like his little take, in his little like side conversations where he's being interviewed. Like, so I don't know, maybe that part's filmed after. I don't know. But it just didn't coincide with the conversation he was having with his friends. But he goes on to talk about how he believed that Zayd lied to him and how the altar was like a huge embarrassment and how he just is very stressed to see her, and he's stressed because he doesn't know if he wants to like start a fight with her or he just wants to talk to her. Like, he just doesn't really know which way he wants to kind of play this. And then he goes on to talk about how he never fat shamed her, like that wasn't his intent, and he doesn't understand where it came from and all this stuff. And after watching the reunion, guys, like I don't get it either, but okay. I mean, you see what you want to see, and clearly she already had some like issues going on. So thank God she's in therapy. Okay. Then we move on to the guys who are at their little gathering. Cole wasn't there, obviously. And SK's there. All the guys are talking, playing games, having shots and beers, doing guy things. And SK's just talking about like, yeah, me and Raven are back together. Everything's great. Expensive traveling. We live together, etc., etc., etc. Again, I can't look at him without being like, liar! You're a liar! Lies! So then we have Bartise and... Wow. Bartise goes on to talk about how he does not have romantic feelings for Nancy and he just wants to have a friendship with her. And I'm like, but why? What are you guys so tied to other than the fact that you guys did this show? You broke this woman's heart. Let her be. You guys cannot be friends. Not now. Maybe years from now. But not now. Not a year. Like... And then Brennan goes on to be like, well, sir, like, have you, like, told Nancy that you don't have romantic feelings for her? And he goes, well, I said no at the altar. I'm like, sir, that is not enough. Because even if you, like, SK said no at the altar, and now he is dating Raven. So you not making that clear to Nancy, who clearly is a very kind soul and clearly really, really loved you because she said yes, could still have hope that maybe this friendship could turn into something. And I don't know, because Nancy never really says, and I think this episode just didn't really provide a lot of context in general as to, like, what that means. Like, why were they hanging out? Like, did they have an intent to maybe pursue something romantically after, or was it always just platonic? There's no context in when they're talking, so that just kind of really threw me off. But Anyway, Matt goes on to talk about, like, the reason why he's not moving in with Colleen is because he doesn't want to break his $5,000 lease.
Do you want to go to war, Balaki?
No.
Because we could go to war.
No.
I'm for real. I'm for real. So you better check yourself.
Excuses, guys, excuses. If you wanted to live with your woman, you would. Anyway. Oh, and then he talks about how he was, you know, he understands that people don't understand why he and Colleen don't live together, but that is their decision and that he is very happy with it and it was the right thing for them. And that he truly stands by it. Because in the long term, this is the only way it would have worked. So that right there really gives me an indication that their relationship was really, really rocky because they couldn't even live together because they probably would have broken up. That's my assumption. And they knew that. So they're like, let's just be separate. Which isn't good because what if they do end up moving together and then all that shit that was like being, you know, like thrown to the side because they weren't living together, it's going to come back. And then we're going to get a nice little announcement. Not nice. I don't want them to get divorced. But you'd get an announcement being like, oh, Matt and Colleen, divorce. Anyway. Move on. Brennan basically just saying, I still don't like Cole. I don't like him. I don't get where this hate for Cole came from. The only time I actually saw that was at the reunion. So I don't know why he doesn't like Cole. Where this came from. Anyway. Then we move on to SK, Raven, and SK's brother, AJ is his name? I forget his name. They're all out eating lunch together, and he's just like, oh my god, like, Raven's really changed you, because he's eating, like, salads, and just stuff like that, and then she's talking about how she's, like, really trying to cook, and just be better, and whatever. They're very happy. Raven leaves to go to the bathroom. Woohoo! They talk. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe she said yes to getting back together with you, whatever. They're all chatting. And then the episode ends with SK telling his brother that he is going to propose to Raven. And here I am watching this episode being like,
Well,
I feel like watching this is pointless at this point because we know that they don't end up together in the end because he's a liar and he's a traitor. So, I don't get it. I felt like this episode, like, I don't know what the other two episodes are like, but I'm going to watch them after this. I'm watching the episode, guys. The way I'm doing this is I'm watching the episode, I'm recording, I'm watching the episode, I'm recording, I'm watching, I'm recording. But I feel like at this point, watching it has been really, really, like, pointless because if this is pre-reunion, we're not getting any new information. It's just stuff that's now old, and it doesn't matter because, like, I don't know where they are right now. So, anyway, yeah, it ends off with, he's like, I'm planning to propose to Raven again. So, that was the end of that episode. I'm really excited to see the second one because I kind of want to see what more is going on. Like, do we find out more context? Like, what is the deal here? But my god, But anyway, I don't know. But anyway, guys, did you like this episode? What are you thinking so far? Let me know in a comment below. Guys, also, I just watched Bling Empire New York. I don't know if you watched that show, but if you do, and you're interested in listening to my recap and review of that, please watch this video right over here. And guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps me out, really helps out this channel. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!